myself together. Great rise, y'all. Great rise. My bad. Let me get myself together. Let me get it together. But you know who this is, and you know what this is. It is Queen Goddess, the King Advocate, and it is Melanated Monday. So you all come on in here. Come on in here. We're going to talk some business today, some things that we often neglect to talk about, get information on, discuss with our families, or just have a thorough understanding for ourselves. We are discussing life insurance today. Life insurance, the different types, the benefits, whatever questions you may have about it. We will be discussing it with a special guest tonight. So if you have any questions, make sure you give those to her. Is that Ms. Zyke in the building? Thank you, loved one, for showing up. I appreciate you. You know I got love for you. I appreciate your love for being here. So again, we will be having a guest this evening, Mrs. Let me get it right, Mrs. Carissa Lowell. She's an life insurance agent. She's also a friend of mine, if you will, and we are going to discuss the benefits of life insurance, the different types of policies, some things we never knew, and how we can actually benefit from them while we're living, hence it being called life insurance. Okay. So if you all are inclined to ask her any questions, please do so. Anything you want to know about it, make sure you ask her. She will be live with us at like 9:05. I'm giving you all an opportunity to get in here and get it together. Or if you want to call in, you can call. That number is 770-906-5271. 770-906-5271 if you would like to call in and speak with her directly. In the meantime, while we're waiting, you know I got to do what I do for me, right? I always got to promote my own shiggity. So while we're waiting, let me remind you, if you have not, and I know who has not, so if you have not already purchased your book, The Business of Marriage, Your Feelings, the Truth About Every Relationship, please do so. It is $20, $22 if I mail it to you. Now, a lot of you are single or trying to get out of a marriage or whatever, just got no thoughts of marriage, so this is scaring you. Don't let it scare you. This is why I said every relationship. If you read the book, you'll even understand the concept of the marriage, what it really is. So don't let that scare you, but get a book. Okay. Again, it's $20. You can get it directly from me. You can go to my website, which I'll post up here in a little bit, myomywellness.com. It's MYOMY wellness.com. Or you can get the Kindle version, which is available on Amazon. Either way, get your copy, please, and thank you. Okay, the next item that we have while we're waiting. This one I'm super excited about. Okay, y'all don't know, but I make products. There's another word for that. I should have said it correctly. But anyway, I make natural products, and this is right now my number one seller. This is a body oil, so unisex body oil. It is sexy. When I tell you it is sexy, it is sexy. Okay, it's called Say Yes. And thus far, that's what's been happening. Okay, so get you some Say Yes. Just put it on, and you won't have to say a word. Just put it on. Think about your question, put it on, and that's what you're gonna get. All right, word. You're gonna get. So let me know if you're interested in that. That will also be available through my website, myomywellness.com. Last but not least, until Mrs. Carissa Lowell comes on, Okay, this right here, the hoodie. I am the solution on purpose with purpose. This is available in black and white and blue. How about that? That's the newest color. And I will be sporting that in a few days, hopefully. Make sure you get your hoodies as well. Also available at myomywellness.com. Okay. Miss Carissa will be on here shortly. I see my brother Rosnael on here, and bam, I got my copper jewelry on that he has made for me, which says on one side it says fuck your feelings, on the other side it says Queen Goddess the King Advocate. So if you are looking for some custom copper jewelry, you got to get in touch with that brother as well. Okay, whatever you want, he can make it for you. So Ross, put your information there so people can get in touch with you. Make sure you do that. We got to start supporting our own. Okay, we ain't playing no games around here. Let's do that. All right. So I'm waiting just a moment for my folks to come in. She should be here shortly. Again, for those of you who are just joining me, I see people are showing up, but I don't see who it is. If you could say something so I could greet you properly, I would greatly appreciate that. Just let me know who's here. Say hello. What's up? How you doing? Something. Great rise and moonlight. Let me know. Say something. People are coming in. I just like, I like to greet you properly. So do that. So again, for those of you who are just joining me, what we are discussing this evening is life insurance. Oh, you've been watching? Well, hello. Well, I need you to come on in, young lady. I need you to come on in. Okay, it's time for you to come on in. We will be discussing life insurance with Mrs. Carissa Lowell. She's joined the feed. We got to bring her on in. Julius, what's going on, loved one? I appreciate you for being here. So, Carissa, let me see how I can get you in here. Let's see. No, we don't want to block you. There should be a little video thing by your name or a green dot or something where I can bring you in, because right now it's not showing that on here. So we got to do something. We got to get you here. Got to get your face in the place. So y'all give me a moment. We always tend to have a little bit of technical difficulties when you're trying to do right. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how that works. Indeed, brother. Indeed. So Carissa, see if you can request to come in, because I don't even see your icon up there for me to pull you in. Because if we have to put you on audio, then that's what it shall be. But you gonna be here, okay? So come on in. Do what you have to do to come in. Let me see if I can do it on my end. Let's see. Okay, I got you. I just sent you an invite. I think that did it. We'll see. I just sent you an invite, but if you don't get it correctly, that's okay. If you need to call, you can call in. The number is 770-906-5271. If you want to just call in, you can do that. 770-906-5271. Or if you want to keep trying, you can do that as well. So I'll give you a minute. I'm gonna let you try it. Just try to come in so people can see your face, because we're definitely gonna have some callers that want to ask you some questions. Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't it. So I need to, maybe if you go out and come back in, that way I can see you when you come in. Try that. Just get off and come back in and see if that works. Oh, okay. Well, if you want to call in 770-906-5271. The phone line is open and ready for you already. Okay. And then when people call in, I'll just put them on a three-way call. 770-906-5271. Who is that? It's Julius. Nope. I hope everybody else is well while we're waiting for these technical difficulties to be taken care of. It's gonna happen. So just be patient. Just be patient because this information, like I said, is definitely something that we need to talk about. We need to get some clarity, some understanding, some overstanding. Because I know there are a lot of things that we've been taught in regards to life insurance that are not accurate. So we're gonna find out what these myths are and what's real. Okay. Hey, Miss Carla, I see you. Is this Mrs. Carissa Lowell?
Yes.
All right.
Carissa Lowell.
Okay.
Sorry for all the technical difficulties.
That's all right. It happens all the time. That's all right. As long as we got you here, that's what matters. So,
yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for being available. And as I have been talking you up, I want you, though, to more so introduce yourself and let people know what you do, where you are, we'll get to the how you can help them, but basically what you do.
Okay. I am a life insurance broker. So what that means is that I'm able to basically assess. My main job is to sit with families, either in person or virtually, assess what they most need, and then help direct them to the best product to meet that need. I work with a variety of different companies. So it's really, and a product can meet any need. So.
Got you. Well, that's good to know. So, okay, so what's the difference between the broker and the agent?
Well, I'm both. I mean, technically, okay. I am an agent. If you look at my license, that's what I am.
Okay.
I'm a broker because I don't work with just one company.
Gotcha.
I work with a lot of different companies. So
Gotcha.
That's what makes me a broker.
Gotcha.
Good question.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so let's just start with the basics. Okay. As far as life insurance and like some of the myths that we've been taught. I know in my coming up, there first of all, there wasn't a whole lot of talk about life insurance at all, particularly, amongst Black families.
Yes.
I think one of the reasons is that it's always been presented to us as something that we can't afford. And because we're gonna die, we don't need to worry about anything other than that. We're dying. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to be concerned with. You're dying. You can't take nothing with you. You're dead.
Exactly.
Nothing's going with you. So don't be concerned about it. So help us out of that, because like that's the beginning.
Yes. And I have heard that where some actually believe it's bad luck to talk about one's death. They literally don't want to deal with it because they believe if they talk about it, then it's going to happen or something.
Right.
So yeah, I've had that a couple of times as well. But the fact is that we can be absolutely sure about a few things in this life, and one of them is that we're going to die of something.
Right.
So to me, it's better to plan to live forever. And I mean, to hope to live forever and to plan to die one day.
Okay.
And the way we do that is by putting a life insurance policy in place so that our loved ones will not have to suffer for money, regarding money.
Right.
When we pass.
And then people also have gotten a little fearful because, you got to be real. Sometimes people's mental states is a little concerning, particularly when you leave them your money. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, yeah, if I have this life insurance policy and my son or daughter or nephew or whoever you're leaving it to is not quite right, or they got it out for me or whatever, I'm not so sure that that's something I want to do. I don't know if I want to have that. I might come up, prematurely dead, so.
Right. Thankfully, that hasn't happened to any of my clients.
Right.
I always tell them, you need to make sure it's someone that you trust.
Right.
Usually, be a child, someone who really would prefer that their loved ones stay around.
Right.
Or obviously, I help a lot of couples. So obviously, they want their, husband or wife to stay around.
Right. Right. So for a person who's never had life insurance that knows absolutely nothing, what would you what are the options? What would you tell them to look for? What are maybe some questions even that they might need to ask in order to get the information that they need?
Sure, sure. Well, what I would ask, I would do like a needs assessment with them. Basically, the question is what's going to be the loss when that person passes? So and who's going to be suffering? Obviously there's going to be the emotional devastation, but who's going to suffer financially when that person passes? Who's going to lose? Who's going to lose income? Who's going to lose? Who's going to have to bury you? Those are all the different things we have to look at. So that's why, who's going to have to pay for your bills? All those things. We want to make sure that there's provision for all of that, so that basically we call it the person that the loved ones don't have to cry twice.
Okay.
They cry because the person is dead, but they don't cry because of the financial burden left on them.
Right.
And then we also look at living benefits. We also look at, do they have guaranteed income for life? Like many of my clients are, they're military retirees, so they've got guaranteed income for life. But if they don't have that, we also look at the living policies that have living benefits. Like, do they cover critical illness? Will they be able to have access to their death benefit if they're to come down with a chronic illness, terminal illness, disability? So I go through an entire needs assessment, and basically my job is to find out what's the most important thing for them, what they're most concerned about, and then go from there.
Okay, so since you brought up the living benefits, until you mentioned that to me a little while ago, I wasn't certain what that was. Tell us a little bit more, as much as you can, about what living benefits are. How do we actually how do we benefit from living benefits?
Yes. Well, living benefits, per se, are things like where you have access, where the client has access to the death benefit and their policy, which is the death benefit is what their family would normally get when they pass, right?
Okay.
Well, they would actually have access to their death benefit while they're still alive if their policy has living benefits. Living benefits include things like chronic illness, and that's that kind of is like a disability. If they maybe get into a car accident, and they don't die, but their legs are crushed, well, now they can have trouble getting in and out of a chair or bed, and now they have trouble. They might even have trouble. Obviously, they can't walk. Those kinds of things. But they can't perform 2 out of the 6 activities of daily living, like eating, toileting, getting dressed by themselves, getting out of a chair, bed, bathing, all those things, then they are considered chronically ill. So they would have access to the death benefit. There's also policies that come with critical illness. That's like your heart attack, stroke, cancer, those kinds of things. ALS, kidney disease, really life-threatening illnesses where they really cannot work and they still need to pay their bills. And then there's also terminal illness, which is exactly what it sounds like.
Right.
That's the client has access to their death benefit when they only have 12 months or less to live. And that's just scratching the surface. Those are literally just things related to sickness. There's a lot more things I could go into, but there's also ones that comes with disability riders too, where maybe it's not a chronic illness. It might just be a temporary illness or a permanent disability. And they would have access to their policy as well. Access to the death benefit.
Is there a cap on it? Is there a certain amount that they can't go over?
Usually it's determined by the amount of the death benefit. So like the most popular one that I sell, it's an 80% of the death benefit cap. Chronic illness is always lower because usually people have access to disability benefits through other sources. So chronic illness is always lower. But critical and terminal, those are usually like 80% or even up to 100% with some companies.
Okay. So living benefits kind of work in the best way I can say it is like it kind of works like as a health benefit supplement, not necessarily a supplement, but I mean, is that right? Like it would kind of work in the same way as having health benefits? Like,
Yes, it actually does. What it's designed to do is you can, like, let's this whole story, right? Let's say that, God forbid, the client was diagnosed with life-threatening cancer and their death benefit was $100,000. Well, if they could call their insurance company, and the insurance company would actually write them a check for up to $80,000. And they can use that check to pay medical bills. They can use it to pay their mortgage. They can use it wherever they need to while they are incapacitated.
So let's just say a miracle happens. A person is diagnosed with terminal cancer, and a miracle happens, and they are cured completely. But they have gone into their benefits. They've used up they've used the 80% or whatever was allowed to them. Are they now liable for replenishing that? How does that work?
Yes, that is the bad part about using the living benefit, is that once it's used with most companies, some companies it works where they actually get to still keep their death benefit. It's just more expensive. But most, once that benefit is used, then it's gone. It pretty much obliterates it takes most of the policy away.
Gotcha.
Most of the death benefit.
Okay.
But so hey, they're still alive. So.
Okay. Right. So let's do. Okay. So I want to ask this other question in regards to life policies versus burial.
Okay.
Because those are two different things, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Tell us about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Yes. So policies, that's what I just told you, is more so for sickness and death.
Okay.
A huge thing that's been gaining in popularity now is where people actually use their policies to build wealth. And I'm also very much into those as well. And those are either whole life policies, where people actually become their own bank. They put money into it, they take money out, it builds cash value, it compounds, the interest compounds, and it's not tied into the stock market, so it's very safe. And then they can take money out of it tax-free. So that's one way that people use a life insurance policy. It's a whole life insurance policy. It's permanent, but they can use that and have most of the, have a lot of the benefit for them while they are alive without being sick or dead.
Okay.
And then there's policies that are also whole life insurance policies as well, but they're more for final expense. They're to pay for burial or cremation or lingering, or, whatever medical expenses are left. They are, usually capped at right at about $40,000. That's usually about the max that people will put on a final expense insurance policy. And they're very expensive because people usually get them over 50. So, they're much more expensive than like a younger person would get. They also let in people who are much less healthy. So the cost, they're much higher because they're covering people who are sick, and and they're definitely going to pay out when they die.
Right. So
they're very expensive.
I'm sure, as everything is at this time.
Exactly.
But a little bit more. I mean, because I'm curious. Like, I've had this conversation. Well, I won't say I've had it, but I've heard the conversation about the whole life policy where you're basically your own bank, but I wasn't involved because I had no clue. Can you go a little bit more in depth with that?
Yes. It's a concept called infinite banking. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
Okay, so it was, the wealthy have been using it for probably about a century or more. The super rich, the elite, that's what they use to keep their family wealth in their family. Because what they'll do is they'll get these huge life insurance policies, these permanent life insurance policies that pay out when they die. Absolutely. But then they will max them out. They'll get the maximum that the insurance company will let them get. And then they will, what's called, overfund them. So they'll literally put as much money as they can into the policy and literally use it like a savings account. But unlike a savings account, which only gets what? Like, how much does an average savings account get?
Maybe 1% to 3%, maybe.
Yeah,
1
exactly.
to 3.
Probably a 0.5%, 2% if you're lucky.
Right.
But it does not even keep up with inflation, right? But a permanent life insurance policy builds cash value at a much faster rate, and it compounds the interest. So every time the cash value builds, it's compounding on that. And every time you, and then not only that is taking place, but then you can actually take loans against your cash value. And when that loan is taken out, the cash value still builds as if you never took any money out.
Wow.
So it is a beautiful concept. People have been using it to build wealth for decades.
Right.
Probably well over 100 years. And the policy pays dividends as well.
Wow.
So the company actually pays. So that increases the cash value.
Right.
And I use that to help clients get out of debt because they actually, we set it up so that it pays their, so that they can actually pay their debt out of their cash value.
Wow.
So it's a beautiful, beautiful concept and tried and true for sure.
Okay. Now, is there well, you said that one's expensive, so it's not really a minimum to start that, or?
Oh no, they can be expensive. They don't have to be. Like
Okay.
my clients, I try to make it so that they're not really paying any extra money.
Mm-hmm.
But the final expense ones, I was saying the cost of insurance is high, but you can get those cheaply as well. It just depends on how old the person is.
Gotcha.
But the participating whole life insurance policies, to me, are the least appreciated financial tools in this country.
Right.
No one really knows about them. The banks don't want you to know about them.
Right.
Because if you really found out of their power, you wouldn't even take loans from the bank anymore.
Wow.
You would just put your money in your life insurance policy and borrow the money from there.
Wow.
So yeah, they're very, very powerful tools.
Yeah.
And they've got the living benefits too. So they got the critical, chronic, terminal illness. So if you get sick, they'll give you money out your death benefit while still building your cash value.
That is awesome. Now you said this has been going on for centuries, though. This is not anything that's new.
It's not anything new. It's been going on for at least over 100 years.
Wow. See, people, this is why we need to have these types of conversations, because there's so many things that we don't know. And I'm talking we as Black people, okay? I'm being specific now. We don't have these conversations because it's like we've been taught not to ask. We've been taught not to care. We've been taught that it doesn't apply to us or that we can't afford it, whatever it is. We've been taught to completely disregard it, even though we have to deal with it like everybody else. So it's like if we're not prepared, and most of us sadly are not prepared for a loved one to pass or for our own passing, where our family doesn't have to worry about going in debt just to put us in the ground. We're not prepared. We don't have the information. We don't talk about it. Like you said, there's this belief that if we have the conversation about it, then we're going to bring it upon ourselves. Well, it's going to happen anyway, people. So since you know that, be prepared. Just get it together, get ready, period. So especially if this is something that I say is not just about passing money on to your loved ones, depending on the type of policy you get, from what I'm understanding, you can benefit from your own policy while you're living. Why wouldn't you?
Yes, exactly.
Benefit from your own policy, hence life insurance.
Right. Instead of death insurance.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna open this line again in case somebody wants to call in and talk directly to you. So if anybody wants to call and join this conversation or ask Mrs. Carissa Lowell a question directly, please feel free. That number is 770-906-5271, 770-906-5271. I want to hear you all. Actually, somebody should be calling right now, asking some questions. Like I said, we don't have these conversations. We don't talk about it. We don't know. And most of the time, we don't even know what it is that we don't know. So here's an opportunity to find out what you don't know and get an answer for it. So Miss Carla says this is true. Kimberly McCants, most Blacks were taught to pray, exactly, and not to plan for anything in the future. Absolutely. We're taught that all the time. Just pray on it. Okay, pray, and then what? You know what I'm saying? Like faith without works, that still applies. That still applies. You still got to do something in order to get the things that you want to happen. You got to do something. Carissa, are you trying to come in? Because somebody just popped up on here like they're trying to get in the video.
Oh.
Is that you or?
No, I was just going. I was liking comments.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Come in. I still haven't figured out how.
No worries. So is that Ross? You trying to come in? Because that was you that showed up. Hey, Jason, how are you, loved one? Appreciate you for being here. Ross, are you trying to come in? Because that was yours that popped up, like you were trying to come in live. So if you are, let me know, and I'll bring you if you want to ask her a question directly. But again, if you want to ask a question, number is 770-906-5271. Okay, yes, he does want to come in. All right. Okay, I'm bringing in someone that wants to ask you a question directly. He'll be on my video.
All right.
Come on in. Oh, and then he declined. You said you wanted to be in here, and then you declined. Make up your mind. That's all right. That's all right.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so for those of you who are just joining us, what's going on, Miss Stephanie Reese? Thank you for being here, loved one. Appreciate you. For those of you who are just joining us, we are discussing life insurance policies and everything life insurance, okay? Anything that you want to know that you thought you knew and you don't really and whatever, we're on the line with someone who knows. Miss Anointed Yvonne says, my great-grand and grandmother paid for their burial and tombstone early. Okay. That's what's up. We didn't think about that. We really need to think about. I think I've known one person in my entire life that has ever really had all of their affairs in order, so that their burial was taken care of, their bills were taken care of, and their children were taken care of, and still to this day they're taken care of. So it's not very common amongst us, but it needs to be, especially as much money as we spend on unnecessary shiggity. We need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves and taking care of our families, taking care of our business. Anointing says, I need to sign up for the new life insurance next month. Gotcha. I think we all do. If you don't have an agent or a broker, I got one on the phone for you, girl. I got you. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Oh, RB said he's trying to figure it out. Well, okay, I'm gonna bring you back in. I'm gonna try it again. I'm saying approved. So all you need to do is come on in here. Just say accept or just get on in here. Just come on in. You keep saying no. You ain't gonna tell me no, but one more time. Okay. we have fun here, Carissa. We have fun. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, even in the midst of business. Okay, so what I do know, I want to make sure that we discuss the different types of policies. Because we went over a little bit with the whole life, but I think what most of us are most familiar with is term. So if you can give us the difference between the two, like the pros and the cons, that would be great.
Absolutely. Term is for, I always say term stands for terminate. So it is an excellent solution for a temporary need. For instance, you have a family. Sorry about that. Out. Only about 1.1% of term policies pay out because they're designed for them to, they're designed for the person to still be alive when the policy is over. So but let's say there's a person who's trying to cover like a 30-year mortgage and they have no plans of leaving that home and they just need a 30-year term. Maybe you have a breadwinner in the family who has young children and just wants to make sure to have a term, maybe a 20 or 30-year term in place while the children are young, until the children are grown, until the children leave the house. So there's all kinds of situations where someone may just need a temporary policy, but even those are being designed much better now, where they can be rolled over to a whole life policy or be paid up at a certain point. They can even turn into a whole life policy when it's time for the policy to be over. So those can be a good option as well. The most important thing, you just have to have a good agent just to make sure that you're getting everything you need. They many times come with living benefits as well, but sometimes they don't.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's important that that you got an agent who knows,
right.
if you've got one with living benefits or not.
Right. So we have a caller on the line, and who are we speaking with?
This is the original roller skate roster, Rashanel.
Rashanel, you made it. There you go. How you doing, love?
I'm good. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure it out, but I'm not that tech savvy.
That's all right.
All the phone technology. I was trying to, but I couldn't figure it out.
That's all right.
Let me just call. Let me get off
exactly.
Yeah, you are out.
But your guest is very informative. I am very intrigued, and I would like to have her as my personal.
There you go.
I need that information. I need to have somebody like that in my life.
There you go.
Yeah, I accept.
Okay.
Very happy to help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've never had nobody just to sit down in a setting and explain it like that where it really, really makes sense.
Right.
And it feels so, how can I put it, inviting. It feels so, inclusive.
Right.
To be able to talk with somebody, talk shop with somebody that it feels like family.
Oh.
Yes. Well, I try to make all my clients feel like family. So.
Yeah.
That's
well, coming to us by way of the Queen, the Queen Goddess, the King Advocate.
Yes,
it definitely helps. It's a beautiful thing.
That's what's up.
Is there a contact number where I can be able to speak with you directly and be able to, sit down and talk shop with how I can develop and start my own policies in such a way to where, it's not just the regular generic stuff, and I can be able to do something unique with it, like the things that you've been suggesting?
Yes, absolutely. My phone number is the best way to reach me. Obviously, you can Facebook message me as well, but my direct phone number is 678 206 5699.
5699. Give me your name again.
And my name is Carissa Lawal.
Spell it for me.
That's CHARISSA. Last name Lawal. LAWAL.
Thank you, Ms. Lawal. It's a pleasure and an honor meeting you. I look forward to speaking to you soon.
I look forward to hearing from you, Mr. Huffman.
Yes. That's the legal name, Huffman, but
okay.
I have a cultural name as well.
Okay, I'm gonna learn how to pronounce that as well.
Okay. All right.
I didn't want to mispronounce it.
Indeed.
Thank you so very much, Queen Goddess, for bringing her on.
Absolutely.
And, I've missed many opportunities to sit down and really take in on your platform, but for some reason the spirit just brought me in, and I wasn't even trying to. I just was going through my phone. I said, "Oh, she's on." So and I tuned in, and it was just something that just draw me right into it. So,
see, it was divine timing. It was meant.
Yeah.
It was meant for you to be here today.
Yes.
That's what's up. Well, I appreciate your obedience.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, look, I'm quite sure this is not the first time you've had such informative guests and an informative program. And so, we be moving around so much. Sometimes we don't stop and tune in, but I'm glad I tuned in this time, and I'll be tuning in a lot more from this point forward.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna hold you to your word. We got witnesses, so I'm gonna hold you to it. All right,
I got to get back out on that stage for with you too. So
okay, yes, please do.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yes, sir.
All right, Carissa, I'm gonna be in touch. I'm gonna get off and let y'all go forward with the program, but I definitely will be contacting you. Thank you so very much for coming on.
I look forward to hearing from you. You're welcome.
All right. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings, love. So Miss Stephanie has a question for you. She says, what are your thoughts on making your insurance policy part of an open estate?
Oh, that is such a good question. So here's the thing. If the life insurance policy becomes part of the estate, then that means that it's going to be taxable according to the estate. So I always advise my clients to leave their policy to their beneficiary. They always have as many primary beneficiaries as they think necessary, and then always have then if they only have one primary beneficiary, then I pretty much beg them to have a contingent beneficiary, someone else that they trust. If the primary beneficiary passes away before they do, or at the same time that they pass away, then they have a contingent that money will go to, because actual life insurance, the death benefit from a life insurance policy is not taxable. But if it goes to the estate, then it just becomes part of the estate, and the estate is definitely taxable. And estate taxes can be pretty ridiculous depending on what state you're in.
Right.
So definitely recommend always having a beneficiary.
All right.
Or two.
Okay. Or five, right. and those that you can trust, that won't try to collect on the beneficiary end quickly. Okay.
Yes.
So that's important.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Again, if anybody wants to call in directly and ask any questions in regards to insurance, life insurance, death insurance, whatever, call in 770-906-5271. We are speaking with Mrs. Carissa Lawal. She is an insurance broker and agent. She is my personal broker, my personal agent, if you will. Okay, so if you have any questions, if you don't have a policy, if you're looking for something, looking to get into a different one, you want to deal with a different company, somebody that you can trust, you trust my referral. Okay, you can trust my referral. Okay. Be sure to reach out to Mrs. Lawal, and she will set you straight. Let me let y'all know. Okay, if I bring somebody on my show, then they are already, for the lack of a better word, in line with how I think. Okay. So y'all already know. Y'all know what it is. Don't come to her with no shenanigans and think you're gonna get something else, okay? Because she got a way of cussing you out and not using never a cuss word. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm just trying to tell you. She will set you straight. Okay? Real quick, real professional, real elegantly. Okay? Unlike myself, but she gonna get it across. I'm just saying. All right. So again, if you have any questions for her, feel free. You can call in 770-906-5271. Or if you want to post your questions, she can still see them as well on Facebook. What's going on, Tony Williams? I see you, loved one. Appreciate you for being here. For those who are just joining, we are discussing life insurance and all that that pertains to it. And one of the things that got my attention was when you were talking about the infinite banking and the whole life policy and being your own bank. And I know I actually want you to go back over that again before we get off here, because I know there's going to be a question that's going to come up once you hang up. Okay. So again, if you would describe that, like how that works, and is that something that like you can use that to put into a business? Can you use that monies to put into a business, or does it go right back into, how does that work again?
Yes. So what it is now, loans in this country are always tax-free. Loans are not taxed in this country, and they never will be taxed. They haven't been taxed since before our country started. Okay. So with a whole life, a permanent, it's called a permanent life insurance policy that's not meant for final expense. It's a permanent life insurance policy. It pays dividends and all of that. What it will do is when the cash value builds, the person who owns it can actually take loans against their cash value. So like, let's say their cash value has $19,000 in it, and they want to start a business. What they'll do is they'll actually take a loan from the insurance company, not from their cash value, but they'll take it against their cash value. So their cash value is continuing to build as if they didn't take any money out.
Right.
Even though on paper it's gone.
Right.
But then when they pay that money back, they pay it at very low interest rates. They pay it back on their terms back to the insurance company. But it's a very low interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they work best, of course. An infinite banking concept works best when you dump a lot of money into the policy, just as if you were like aggressively saving.
Okay. So it works like a savings account.
Yes, or they also work great if someone has just a 401k from a previous job just lying around there not doing anything with. You can do what's called front loading and just dump a 401k into the policy to just accelerate that cash value.
You say that's called front loading?
Yes, it's called front loading. That's what I called it. I don't know what it's actually called. But yes, but you just put a bunch of money, make a huge first payment into the policy to go ahead and accelerate that cash value. And the good thing about it is there's no fees. Like a 401k, there's always fees. Even if you lose money, they're still charging you fees. A retirement plan, they're still charging you fees. And then the 401k, when you actually take the money out during retirement, you're still taxed on that money. It's taxable income.
Right.
So whereas the money that you get that you pull from your life insurance policy is not taxed, so it's a much better value. So you can just instead of keeping your 401k until you retire, you might as well just if you're not putting money into it anymore, just take that 401k and put it in a life insurance policy. You'd be better off.
Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people are also a little fearful of their life insurance being used against them as income. So I don't know is that reality? Is that a reasonable fear or not?
I'm sorry, your life insurance policy, and you cut out used against?
Yeah, like let's say for instance, like if they were applying for something, like if you take somebody who has a lower income, but they do have a life insurance policy, a lot of places will look at their insurance policy and include it as income, and because of that, then it disqualifies them.
No, I've heard the opposite from insurance companies. That they can't lie like that because they could actually be shut down.
Right.
But that it actually they're not seen. They're actually not counted against them. So their cash value. First of all, the government doesn't even know about it. So their cash value, it's not reported. It's not reported income. It doesn't appear on any kind of tax form or anything. So yeah, the government knows nothing about it, and so it's not considered income. Now, even if someone dies and receives a death benefit, same thing. It's not considered income. It's not garnished. It can't be garnished by anyone. At least not in this state.
Okay. Well, see, that's good to know because that was one of the myths then. So we're here to bust all of that up. We need to know what it is.
Right.
The things that are not being said to us, because this information, if you don't know somebody that is willing to give it to you, it's not just accessible. You know what I'm saying? It's not just out there being taught. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to know somebody that is willing to give up that information. Because like I said, there's so many things that we don't know, but we don't even know that we don't know it. We don't know what to ask. Exactly. We don't know what you know what I'm saying, what to expect. So it's like, well, you never asked me the question. Well, I didn't know to ask. Tell me something. It's the awesome innovative ways. Yeah, it says it's innovative ways to use life insurance. Absolutely, because who knew? I just figured you get the life insurance so when you die, people can pay for it, and that's it.
Exactly. Right. It's not very exciting
at all.
Because you have to.
Right. Yeah, you pay for it, and if there's a little bit left, then you go ahead and buy yourself a cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a donut. Exactly. Maybe a donut, hold up on the jelly. But yeah, that was all that I know for myself. It was never a conversation ever. And like Miss Stephanie also says, even when you have insurance, let people know where you keep the policy, because that's important.
Gosh, yes. That is essential. I don't even want, I'm sure it's sickening how many billions of dollars have not been paid out because the family because the insured didn't bother to tell their beneficiaries that they had a policy.
Right.
Because again, people tend to procrastinate. They like to just get a policy and then stick it in a drawer somewhere.
Right.
And I always I tell people about 10 million times after I insure them, I'm like, make sure your beneficiaries know how to contact me.
Right.
Make sure they know how to contact your insurance company.
Absolutely.
It's extremely important. And you need to put your policy in a very accessible place, or tell them, if you put in a safe deposit box or in a vault somewhere, make sure they know exactly where to find it, because there should be to me that's horrible for you to pay all that money for all those years and then for your family not to benefit. That's unthinkable.
Absolutely.
But I know it happens every day.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. all the time. Mm-hmm. So I think that there was another question, not from my viewers, in regards to putting people on your policy, or you putting or them being, or you being on other people's policies. I'm trying to think what was the question exactly, because now it just sounds silly. So let me think about the question first before I get it out there. Because it sounds strange right now, trying to come out of my mouth. It's not even making sense in my head. So never mind. But if it comes together, I'll ask. But in the meantime, if anybody else has a question, feel free to ask. Either you can post it on Facebook, or if you want to call in, feel free to call in, because we only have a few more minutes to be here anyway. So call in if you want to ask a question directly. 770-906 5271. Ask your question in regarding anything about life insurance, burial insurance, living benefits, whole life policies versus term policies, what this infinite banking is, whatever. Ask the questions. If you have no idea about insurance at all, get on here and say, I have no idea about insurance at all. How do I start? So I'll even ask that question then. Like, it'll be a repeat for you. But for someone who has no insurance at all, knows nothing about it, what should they ask? What should they be looking for? What's the expectation? Basically, what would be the first step for them?
Yes, the first step in choosing a life insurance policy is asking the question, what do I need to protect? Because at its basis, obviously, is the death benefit. So, you need to be thinking, okay, who's going to suffer when I pass away? Am I going to have people who are depending on my income, and that income is no longer going to be there when I die? Who's going to have to cover my final expenses? Who's going to have to cover my medical costs? And then you need to think about, all right, do I have guaranteed income for life? Or if I get sick and I cannot work, will I be able to pay my bills? And if the answer to that question is no, then it's extremely important to find a policy that has living benefits that covers critical, chronic, and terminal illness. So that if, God forbid, you need access to your death benefit while you're still alive, you have that. And then of course, after those extremely essential things are taken care of, then you can start thinking about, do I want to use this as a savings account, that builds cash value much faster than a savings account, depending on how much money you put into it, of course, but it compounds. And then you want to think about it, is it something you want to use for retirement? Because that's a totally different one. That's an index universal life plan. If you want to use that for retirement, that's one where you save for like 15 or 20 years, then you start pulling the money out. So there's a lot of different types of policies. You need to think about if your need is temporary or if it's permanent. If you take a term policy to cover a funeral expense, and you don't think you're going to be dead for another 40 years, that's a bad life choice.
Okay.
Because your term, you're going to be dead long after your term expires. So So you want to think, so burial, that's why people generally get whole life insurance policies or index universal life insurance policies or universal life insurance policies to cover funeral expenses or final expenses. So they want to make sure they're going to be there when they die.
Right.
Don't never get a term to cover a funeral because it's going to be, I promise you, it's going to be over and you're not going to have any insurance. Then you're just going to be 89 years old.
Okay.
And I can't, that's so sad. When I walk into a, 80-year-old's home and they've got a term policy that just expired, 5 years, that's just sad.
Wow.
Don't be that person.
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
So,
don't be that person. You got the information right now. Don't be
That's
that
right.
person. Don't be that person.
yes.
And you can start off. See, a lot of people also think that you have to have a lot of money just to start a life insurance policy, and you do not.
Nope.
There are
You
so
really
many affordable ways to get covered. So don't let that discourage you. Like if you make $100 a month, you can get insurance and still eat. Okay, there's a way
That's
of
right.
doing it. So don't let that discourage you, because I'm very transparent. And I was like, well, I won't be getting no life insurance because I can't afford it. I don't make that type of money. I don't make enough money. I'm surprised I'm even sitting where I'm sitting, period. I'm surprised I can eat daily. And that's no joke, you know what I'm saying? Because my income does not support anything. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. But I've been making it, you know what I'm saying, by the grace of God. I promise you, but I've been making it. But I made sure that I had a policy put in place, even if it's, it starts small, you can always add to it. You can always move up as you can, but at least start it, get something in place. And as your income increases, and we're going to claim it right now over your life, that your income is increasing as we speak. So as that happens, then you are able to increase the amount of your policy. But you want to make sure that you are covered, that you have access to your own stuff. If you need it, you have access to your own benefits, and that your burial expenses are taken care of on top of the other things, on top of your beneficiary being able to receive those benefits as well. You want to make sure all of your bills are taken care of. You don't want to leave your expenses to your loved ones unless you do. Okay, but for the most part, you don't.
Right.
So take care of that, but take care of yourself as well. You can still benefit from your own policy. And who knew you could be your own bank? Who knew? And we really, really, really need to be invested in that, particularly in these times. We need to be our own banks. Do you know how? Do you even hear how powerful that sounds, that you can be your own bank? And I'm talking to Black people.
Yes.
Do you hear that? You can be your own bank. This is part of power economics. Be your own bank. This is a way of becoming financially free for real, when you don't have to go outside of yourself to get the money that you need. Hello, somebody. So with that being said, let me ask this question. So as being your own bank, are you able to loan from that? Can you give a loan from your own bank?
Yes, you can. What you can do is once you take that loan out from yourself, from your own bank, from your life insurance policy, then that money can go to whomever. And you can absolutely, let's say, this is how, like I said, it's how the wealthy become more wealthy, because they can take the money out their bank, right? Mm-hmm. Take the money out of their life insurance policy and then loan that out to somebody else who maybe wants to start a business. Or, maybe their child needs a car. So they're going to loan them the money to get a car. Whatever the situation is, they can absolutely use that. That money is theirs. When they take that loan out, that is money that they can use for any purpose.
Right. That's dope. I hope you all are really processing
Very
this.
powerful.
That is very powerful. Girl, I'm so glad you came on here tonight. So look, this
Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. I want you to give the people all of your information, all of your handles,
Absolutely.
whatever it is, the company, whatever. Give them the information so they can get in touch with you. We already know RB Huffman is calling you, honey. You already got a client.
That's right.
So we want to get you some more. So let the people know how to get in touch with you.
Yes, I appreciate that. My phone number is the best way to reach me. You can reach me by text or call. If you call me and I don't answer, that's because I'm probably on a virtual meeting. So just bear with me, shoot me a text, leave me a voicemail. I'll make sure to call you right back. But my phone number is 678-206-5699. That's 678-206-5699.
Okay.
On here, on Facebook, I'm Carissa James Lawal. And on Instagram, I'm just Carissa Lawal.
Okay. So that's Carissa, CHARISSA, and Lawal, LAWAL.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. And then my middle name on Facebook is still James.
Okay.
I'll change it soon. I'm just, in transitioning here.
Gotcha.
So.
She's a newlywed, y'all. She's a newlywed.
Right.
Congratulations again. Congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
Indeed. So for the last moment, you all, if you have any questions that you want to get answered before we dismiss, call in real quickly, 770-906-5271. RB says he is definitely sharing your information to his family and friends. That's what's up. See how we do?
Thank you.
See how we do?
It.
Networking, honey.
It.
Yes, ma'am. This is how we do. This is definitely, for me, probably one of the most powerful shows that we've had because of the information. And we need this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how we establish our own financial freedoms. This is how we become truly financially independent. This is how we build what we say we want built. This is how we no longer have to worry about begging for a loan and not being given it, or being given a loan at ridiculous interest rates, or not being qualified for whatever, not getting access to. We don't have to be told no anymore. If you say yes to yourself, you don't have to worry about being told no. We can rebuild. We have the information now. We have the information. We have access to it. We know what to do. We know where to go. We know who to call. We know how to start. No more excuses. It's time to build. And I mean build it, okay? Build it strongly, firmly, steadily. Build it. We need to come out of the situations that we're in. No more financial oppression. None of that. Okay. If you decided you want to be oppressed, that's your decision, that you've made that choice. Not that you're not being oppressed because you have no way of getting out. This is a way to build. It is time. So again, if you're looking for someone that can help you get a better understanding of what you need as far as insurance is concerned, and rebuilding or building your wealth from your own bank, please make sure you reach out to Mrs. Carissa Lawal. Okay, her number again is 678-206-5699. Reach out to her tomorrow, or tomorrow, because it's 10 o'clock. Reach out to her tomorrow. Don't call her tonight, but keep a number. Okay, call her tomorrow. Share the information. Make sure you tell your friends, your family. If you got somebody that you're dealing with in another company and they didn't give you this information, you already know what to do. You all right? Call her tomorrow, because they didn't. Your folks didn't tell you. You didn't know this, and you have a policy, and your people didn't tell you. Quit them, okay? Tell them they fired. You got a new broker. somebody that really cares about you, that cares about your well-being. And I trust her because she's my broker. She's my friend. Okay, this is like family. Okay, and when I tell you it's a family environment, I know her family. Okay, I don't bring people on here that I don't trust and or like. Okay, y'all know this about
I appreciate
me.
that.
Okay, y'all know this about me. Okay, exactly. So her information is posted. Make sure you reach out to her, even if you have some more questions that she can answer for you. You have the information. Get empowered with it. That's it. That's where your power is, with the information once you have applied it. So Mrs. Carissa Lawal, I love saying it. I so appreciate you for coming on
this
here.
This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I appreciate you for being here and sharing the information that you have shared. I'm expecting you to have many more phone calls from these viewers and people that they have referred to you. I wish you so much wellness and prosperity, not only in your business, but in your new your marriage, your family. And I know everything. I know things are going to be granted to you, gifted to you in such a more powerful way because of what you're doing, because of what you're giving other people access to. We don't have it, and you are giving that information freely. So many blessings are upon you just for that. So I'm grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. And the same blessings back to you.
I receive it. I receive it. All right, people. So that's it. If you have no other questions, apparently you do not, but you can call her directly tomorrow. If you do, the number is posted. The number is posted. Make sure you share this show with other people. Put it on your page, share it with other people, and share her information with the ones that you care about. Even if you don't, share the information anyway. Okay, just give it to them. That's all you can do, is give people information. What they do with it is totally up to them. But you now are responsible for the information that you have received. So do something with it. Do not let it go in vain. All right. Miss Lawal, do you have, I'm sorry, Mrs. Lawal, did you have any final words that you would like to say?
All I can say is you purchase life insurance with money, you buy it with help. So don't procrastinate.
Okay, there you go. And it has been said.
Yes.
It has been
this
said.
This has been fun. I've been honored to be on your show today.
I'm
definitely going to be sharing it on my timeline.
Good. I appreciate that. All right, everyone. So then we're going to wrap this on up. You all know what it is. I will be back maybe. I'm going to say maybe because these past couple of weeks has been something else. Thursday around 8:30-ish on the move on purpose. On the move unscripted on purpose. The ladies roundtable discussion on Thursday nights. We're here from 8 to 10, 8:30-ish, depending on what we're talking about. But make sure you are here with me, with us. You never know what we're going to be talking about, but we're going to be talking about it. Okay, so make sure that you join me. And if you have not purchased anything from me, start. Okay, everything's on my website, My Wellness, MYOMY wellness.com. I am looking forward to talking with you all soon. Y'all know what it is. I love you on purpose, with purpose. And until then, peace.
Bye.
Bye.